Hello, welcome back. I'm Statman Dave. Today we're going to be taking a look at how Xavi is transforming Barcelona in Tactics Explained. Remember to subscribe if you're new and go and check out our second channel, Statman Dave Clips, for more content and the best highlights from Twitch. Anyway, let's get this party started. Despite being a relatively new manager, Xavi Hernandez has some very clearly defined footballing ideas and is already starting to show progress at Barcelona. Statistically speaking, there isn't too much that separates Xavi's side with his predecessor Ronald Koeman until you look at the results. Xavi is enjoying a much improved win percentage, and whilst he's conceding a similar number of goals per game, his new-look Barcelona are scoring a lot more freely. So how has the club legend achieved this? In terms of formations, Xavi has moved away from the back three seen under Koeman and settled on a 4-3-3. But most importantly, Xavi has reverted Barcelona back to a positional play style, last seen under Pep Guardiola and Enrique, moving the ball to create superiorities. Another notable change at Barcelona is that there's a bit of pragmatism about their selections. In his first 21 games as Barcelona manager, the Spaniard has given minutes to a whopping 33 different players, but a settled core is starting to emerge. Ter Stegen in goal, Araujo, Piqué and Alba in defence, and Busquets, De Jong, Pedri in midfield. The other four positions are rotated more than the others, and we're seeing changes based on the opposition, something that we're not used to seeing at Barcelona, but something that's obviously having a positive impact. In possession, Xavi's Barca build out from the back. In his system, the centre-backs are responsible for a lot of the deep progression, but unlike a lot of modern sides, the midfield three tend to hold their positions. Obviously, there are occasions where midfielders drop deep to create overloads, but in the build-up, they largely leave distance between themselves and the defenders. The result is a lot of pivot passes, from one centre-back into a midfielder who immediately finds the other centre-back as Barcelona shift the momentum of an attack. For example, if the right centre-back has the ball, they will draw the opposition over to their side. They can then pass to a midfielder who finds the left centre-back, giving them access to an underloaded left-hand side of the pitch and an ability to find the spare man. Xavi is also using inverted fullbacks to free up his number 8s. Xavi's wingers stay extremely high and wide, stretching the opposition and creating space for teammates. Either the opposition track the wingers, leaving holes in central areas for Barca's other attackers to exploit, or they can stay compact, reducing this space but isolating their fullbacks with Xavi's wingers. Regardless, the space in the inside channels are left free for the number 8s, as a defensive midfielder and the fullbacks adopt the deeper midfield space. Often we see Jordi Alba playing a traditional but supporting fullback role, holding his position, creating a back three, or getting forward to supplement the attack, but largely from a wider position. Dani Alves meanwhile takes up a proper inverted role, often creating a double pivot with Sergio Busquets. However, depending on the makeup and situation, we do see variation. In the 4-2 win against Napoli, Xavi deployed Serginho Dest at right back, and we saw both fullbacks operating as halves on either side of Busquets. Meanwhile, against Atletico Madrid, we saw Alves and Alba in an inverted and traditional role, with the Brazilian running the show. In fact, prior to his sending off, he had more touches than Busquets and had made 8 more passes than the usual orchestrator, finishing the game with a goal and an assist. With Alba and Alves arguably Xavi's best pair of fullbacks, we see Barca attack in a 3-2-5. However, within this structure, there's quite a lot of positional rotation, notably on the left-hand side, between the left winger, central midfielder and fullback, depending on who plays there. Again, Xavi is a great option for this rotation. Barcelona rotate in this way and it makes them much more difficult to deal with and makes it hard for the opposition to man-mark their players and creates unpredictability in attack. Xavi has transformed Barcelona's possession game for the better, and there are big similarities between Xavi's Barca, Guardiola's City and Arteta's Arsenal. In terms of chance creation, Xavi's Barca have a clear plan, and this has transformed their attack into a potent unit. January recruitment means that Xavi has the likes of Ferran Torres, Adama Traore and of course Ousmane Dembele at his disposal. Basically dynamic but very tricky wide players. Because of their extreme width and positional play, these players are generally always available to receive, and when they usually do, they're in 1v1 situations or in a qualitative overload, situations that they often come out on top. This results in these players making a lot of decisive actions. either using their speed to make runs in behind the defence or by beating their man directly and sending in crosses. This has proven to be very effective for Barcelona, with Barca scoring more goals from crosses than any other team in the Liga. Meanwhile, under Xavi, 48% of their 29 La Liga goals have been assisted by a cross or a cutback. Another transformation at Barca comes in Frankie de Jong, rising to prominence at Ajax as a modern-day libero or playing in a single pivot for the Dutch national team. De Jong has always been used as the deepest midfielder, but at times he's played a little higher under Koeman. But Xavi has moved the Dutchman even further forward. His evolution is similar to Xavi's own, starting out as a number 6 where he can orchestrate the play, but being moved further forward where his exceptional vision and passing range can have a greater influence on the game. But unlike Xavi, de Jong is also a graceful dribbler that glides past players, making him a nightmare to defend against if he can receive and turn in between the lines. A key part of Barcelona's DNA is using third and fourth man runs, and Xavi's side use this a lot. Notably, however, they're used to get players in between the opponent's midfield and defensive lines. This is something that de Jong and Pedri seem to do a lot for Xavi, with Busquets combining with one of the midfielders, allowing the other one to drift in between the midfield and receiving as the spare man. Let's take Frankie de Jong as an example, with Busquets and Pedri combining deep, allowing Frankie de Jong to use his dribbling ability, his decision-making and two-footedness and passing ability to play dangerous passes that creates goal-scoring chances. We saw this in the Aubameyang goal against Napoli. Arejo passing it out to Pedri, drawing out Koulibaly. Pedri finds Busquets, Busquets finds de Jong, who switches it out to Adama. In this qualitative overload, Rudy backs off Adama, who cuts inside and picks out Aubameyang, who finishes superbly. This is a fantastic goal that came after 70 seconds of possession and 23 passes that clearly highlighted Xavi's possessional shape throughout the move. Frankie de Jong's intelligence also sees him get into good goal-scoring positions. Whilst his finishing is a little bit wasteful, it will only improve the more he plays in a higher position, a lot like Xavi did. His goal against Napoli, picking the ball at 40 yards out from goal, carrying and then picking out the top corner from 25 yards, is something I never thought I'd see Frankie de Jong do, but obviously he's got it in his locker. He's already been directly involved in 4 goals in just 13 appearances for Xavi. If de Jong can maintain this for 38 games, he'll reach double figures for goal involvements for the first time in his career. And finally, Xavi has transformed Barcelona's pressing game. Without the ball, they press in a 4-3-2-1 and deploy an aggressive man-to-man scheme. The striker presses the player in possession whilst the ball-side central midfielder steps up in support. By using the central midfielders high, Xavi tends to block progression through the middle, forcing the opposition to go down the line where the fullback and winger are waiting, or if they go long, the usual outcome is that Sergio Busquets regains possession for Barcelona, using his ability to read the game before stepping in and winning the ball. In fact, Busquets ranks first in the Barcelona squad this season for tackles plus interceptions, making nearly twice as many as the next best player. But the energy and work rate of the central midfielders, Pedri and especially Frankie de Jong, are integral to this, adding a really aggressive side to Barcelona's defensive game. For such a young coach managing at the highest level, Xavi is doing superbly to translate his philosophy onto the pitch. Speaking in 2019 about his style of play, Xavi said, "What I want from my team is to have control, and I think that you have that when you have the ball. That's my philosophy, to have possession higher up the pitch, not just sitting and waiting, to go on the attack, because the more chances you create, the more chances you have to win." In just a few months, Xavi has transformed Barcelona's possession game, method of chance creation, their pressing structure, and has started to evolve Frankie de Jong in a similar way to how he evolved under Frank Rijkaard at Barcelona. Whatever you think of his transformation, clearly Xavi is having a positive impact at Barca. Since his first game in charge, only Real Madrid have picked up more points than Barca, and if the Catalans stick with their former captain, Xavi will return Barcelona to the pinnacle of European football. But anyway guys, what do you think? Have you been impressed by Xavi's Barcelona? Let me know in the comments below, of course. Check out the Clips channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, why not check out some more content on the Statman Dave YouTube channel?